Hello and welcome to the Financial Bunny TV. My name is Nicolette Mashile. I am also known as the Financial Bunny. Happy July Savings Month. It is the month to save. I know every time I speak about saving, in fact, somebody already commented on one of my social media posts and they're like, what are we going to save? We don't have anything to save. Guys, please, man. There's no such a thing as I don't have enough money to save. You are making a choice not to save. I'm going to tell you right now, you are making a choice not to save. But I know why you are making that choice not to save. Because somehow we need to decenter this idea that finance works the same for everyone, right? It is absolutely important to understand that your saving and my saving are not going to look the same. I may be able to save 2 Rand every single month, and you may be able to save 5 Rand every single month because our financial circumstances are not the same. And what we're not going to do is to go into a prescriptive approach when it comes to saving money. And this is what often happens, right? And I've been reading up a lot on financial behavioral sciences. And it says that, economics assumes everybody's logical. Economics assumes that there are systems that can explain why certain things are a certain way. But in reality, we know that human behavior is very much irrational. So even if we were to say to you, save 10% every single month, if you put it in an interest-bearing account for however many years, you will be able to derive the reward at the end of the 40 years. The Nicolette today, she is irrational. She wants what she wants when she wants it. Even if I understand the 10% saving and I'm going to reap the reward in the near future, the reality is the Nicolette today is going to find that impossible to do. That's number one. The second one is it's too prescriptive to tell people how much to save. We like telling people, no, but you must save this amount. Save 10%, save this. I prescribe to Nick Maguguli, and I cannot pronounce his surname, and I try every single time, where he says, save when you're making a lot more money, save more, and when you're making less money, save less. But what you don't do is to stop saving, right? So we are smack bam in the middle of savings month. The question is, how do you actually become a true saver? And how do you actually tap into your power of saving? Because you can. You definitely can. The first thing you need to do is to set clear goals. I always tell people, I have this conversation in all of my sessions where I ask this question and I'm like, in a room full of people, I'll say, who's traveling in the next couple of months? And people's hands will go up, right? People will pop up their hands and then I'll ask them, where are you traveling to? Someone will say, let's say for instance, oh, I'm going to Mauritius. I said, oh, when are you going to Mauritius? At the end of the year, it's my end of year holiday. And then I say, how much do you need? And they're like, oh, I'm not really sure. I'm probably going to need 30,000 Rand. I say, you're not going to go to Mauritius. That's the reality of life. There's only 2 instances that will have you going to Mauritius. One, you've got it absolutely planned to the T and you know exactly how much money you need so that you can work towards saving for that goal. The second person who will probably go to Mauritius is somebody that knows is going to come into money at the end of the year and it's enough money for them to be swayed to pay for however much a ticket is, however much accommodation is, and they can go to Mauritius. That's the reality of life. But for many of us who have to save up for a holiday, like Mauritius, if you don't know how much, you're not going. It's like saying you're going somewhere, and then on the GPS you put in, I'm not really sure what the address is. Where are you going if you're not really sure? Stay at your house. If you get on a GPS, you need to put in an exact address. If you put in an address that is not exact, it will land you around where you are going, but it won't be where you're trying to go to. So it's absolutely important to understand some of these things because if you understand them, it makes your life a little bit better. Now, the theorists have created a very simple approach to specific goal setting using the SMART goal setting approach. S is for simple, M is for measurable, A is for attainable, R is for realistic or relevant, T is for time bound. If you can use that for each and every single one of those of your goals, it is easier for you to plan. And I always say, if you have a disposable income, for instance, of 1,000 Rand every single month, and somebody comes to you and borrows 100 Rand, if you've got no goal for that 1,000 Rand, it's very easy for you to take out 100 Rand because you think 100 Rand is a small amount of money. But if you know every single month you need to save at least 1,000 rand or even 900 rand for a specific goal you're trying to reach, and somebody comes and borrows 100 rand, 100 rand is a lot of money. Because you know that you actually don't have what we psychologically deem as free money in our bank accounts. So it's important to use a smart goal setting approach to be able to reach your specific goals. The second thing you need to do is to set the budget. There is no point in you knowing you need to save 1,000 rand every single month if you can't get 1,000 rand out of your budget. So you need to be realistic again. And this comes down to when we say to people, save, and they say, people think they need to save like 500 rand every single month. And when they look at their budget, there is no 500 rand. So then they just give up the whole thing, throw the baby out with the bathwater. In reality, if you've got specific goals, you will know exactly how much you need to save for each and every single one of those goals. Then what you need to do is to go back to your budget and work on your budget and allocate funds to specific areas in your life that you need to pay for every single month. And then one of those needs to be saving for a goal. So you will know, okay, actually, this goal I'm trying to save for is not attainable. So the A, back when you were using SMART, is actually saying to you, the A is not attainable after all. Which means either you create the attainability in your budget or you're not going to Mauritius at all. But it can also say to you, okay, you don't make enough money. You need to get an extra side hustle to make the extra 1,000 rand so that you can go to Mauritius. So that's why we say create a budget that supports your savings goal. The third thing you need to do is to automate your savings. Please, man, as a human being, you must know yourself, hey? If you know you are not the type of person that can physically transfer the 1,000 rand to your savings account every single month because you will go and fetch it again, automate those savings separate from your everyday transactional account. Make sure it is out of sight, out of mind. But also, please, out of sight, out of mind only works if you're not fixated and obsessing over it, right? It's that thing about how fad diets don't work. Because if you say to somebody you're not allowed to eat chicken, what's the only thing they can think of? Chicken. Because you've told them you're not allowed to eat chicken. If people say to you, you can't date that guy, stop sleeping with that guy, what do you want to do? That's all you want to do. Now you want to sleep with that person, you can't stop yourself. Things shouldn't be about intensity, they should be about consistency. If you do it every single month consistently, you get into a habit of doing it. But if you want to do intense things every once in a while, I promise you it's easier to default to the bad habit than actually build a good habit. The next thing is if you find that your budget does not support your goals, you need to find a side hustle. Now, here's the trick about side hustles that we've got all wrong. People think their side hustle must make the same amount of money as their current job. It's not possible. If you take your side hustle and you create it as a solution to the gap in your budget. Okay, sharp. I have a gap in my budget. I can't afford to actually pay for life insurance. My life insurance is 300 rand. I need to find a side hustle that can pay for me to pay for life insurance. So you ring fencing it. Instead of having this side hustle that pays money into your budget in this big hole, and then you have to allocate from there, think about the government budget. The government budget, everybody gets money in a big budget. Then the Ministry of Treasury, or Ministry of Finance rather, now then allocates to the different areas. That for me is really difficult, right? If only all of the departments could find a way to ring fence their own financing, it would be so much easier. Same way with your own life. You need to ring fence certain amounts of money for certain things. Now you know, you can't touch this money that came from the baking side hustle because it has to go and pay for the life insurance. Or it has to pay for the 1,000 rand that you're trying to make for you to be able to go on holiday. So it's important to make sure that you've got that side hustle. Now, everybody knows my philosophy. My philosophy is you can only cut so much in your budget, right? Until you start eating your fingers. It's important rather to make more money than try to cut. However, that doesn't mean that you must just have unnecessary spend and say, no, I'll just make more money. Because remember, it takes two sets of skills. One set of skill is to make money, and most people are really good at making money. But the second set of skills is to keep money. And that's where a lot of people fall short. It is harder to keep money than it is to actually make money. So you've got to ask yourself the question, do I have the necessary skills to keep money? Building wealth is not about the money that you're making. It's not about the money you're making. It's how much of it do you keep. So look at last year. Look at this year. How much money did you make last year? Are you on track to make the same amount of money this year? Yes or no? But by last year, June, how much of your money had you kept? That's the question you need to be asking yourself. The third thing is, guys, finance needs to be fun. If it's not fun for you, it's not fun for anyone else. And if it's not fun, you're not going to commit to it. It's not going to happen organically. So if you're going to save, create a little savings challenge for yourself. Day 1, save 1 rand. Day 2, save 2 rand. Day 3, save 3 rand. Day 4, save 4 rand. Or first month, 100 rand. Second month, 200 rand. Third month, 300 rand. Fourth month, 400 rand. Go with the months. By month 12, you're saving 1.2. If you put it all together, that's a great lump sum of money to be able to get you into the next year. It's a fun, engaging challenge for yourself. Join some friends. Come together as chomies and do that savings challenge. Hold each other accountable. I actually saw this very cool diary that I think I'm going to create where it's got like these little pouches. And on the pouch, you write a number. So every single pouch has a certain amount of money that you got to put into it. It's literally a very fun savings challenge. That's all you've got to do is make it fun to actually put money away. And I promise you, the feeling of winning is very much contagious and humans want to repeat it. So if you get it right for the first couple of times, you're going to want to repeat that feeling. So keep going. Give yourself a nice savings challenge. The next one, re-look at your credit agreements. Guys, let's just be fair. Some of our credit agreements, we negotiated them at a time when we were desperate. And when you're desperate, you do not have the logical brain to actually look at the numbers and actually say, okay, based on these numbers, this is actually a bad credit deal because you need the money. So now that you've taken a breather, you've let the credit agreements breathe, you've probably got more money that you've made from your job or your affordability looks better now, you've settled some of the loans that you own, you are in a better position to go and renegotiate, refinance some of those credit agreements. If it means that you need to get a consolidated loan, rather get a consolidated loan. But remember, consolidated loan only works if what you are paying in the new loan is less than what you are paying accumulatively in your current loan. The next one is review insurance policies. The most exciting thing about finance is that there's a lot of fintech companies that are coming up, and every single one wants to beat the big traditional companies. They want to make it cheaper for you to get insurance. If you think about the likes of your Naked, Pineapple, those insurance guys are very innovative, and they are probably beating some of the big companies in creating finance. There's companies that are doing banking much more cheaper and more simpler. Sending money across borders has become much more cheaper because the emergence of fintech companies says that the market is now got enough players for us as the consumer to kind of regulate the pricing that we're paying. So this is your opportunity to go and relook at things like your insurance. Are you really getting the value that you are paying for? If not, go look for another insurance. The only thing I can say is before you cancel an insurance policy, please make sure you already have the other one. Because that last, if you don't have cover and something happens, you're in trouble. The last thing that I want to say is make investing a savings goal. Remember, it does not matter how much you save. Your money is not going to grow. Saving is not supposed to grow your money. If you want your money to actually grow, if you want to have capital appreciation, you want to have asset appreciation, you want to beat inflation, the best thing that you're going to do for yourself and your money is you've got to make your money work for you. And money can only work for you when it is tied up in asset classes that actually appreciate in value. That is investing. You can't want to, really, savings is not going to grow your money. It will save you, but it will not grow your money. Absolutely crucial for you to understand this. I hope that you have a fantastic savings month. I hope that all of your financial dreams and aspirations come to fruition, especially in this month where you have an opportunity to wholly hone in on your finances, your savings plan. We've got the two-part retirement system kicking off on the 1st of September. Please remember that retirement is a savings plan and you've got to be very much efficient with it. especially when it comes to tax and fees. But we'll talk about tax and fees on the next video. I'll see you guys on the next one. Mwah.